I had a very unique, touching conversation with my taxi driver. I just got back from Boston just a couple of hours ago. I'm back in LA. I was at a big conference for real estate agents. I saw a lot of my friends I hadn't seen in a long time. I had amazing conversations, but this taxi driver conversation, this one. And I felt very emotional. And I mean, he left an impact on me. And let me just tell you what happened. So, first off, the plane's leaving at 7 a.m. And I'm talking about 7 a.m. East Coast. I'm West Coast. And so I had to wake up really early. I'm tired. I get downstairs to the hotel. It's like 5 a.m., 5:20. And I'm not calling an Uber in Boston. There's no way because they've gotten me lost a few times. By the way, if you're in Boston, just use the taxis. They know where they're going, like without a map, which is amazing. And Uber will get you lost. Don't do it. So I see a taxi. There's one taxi at 5:20 a.m. And I'm like, hey, are you open? He's like, yeah, come on in. He's writing something. And he goes, yeah, come on in, go over on the side. We're ready to go. Where can I take you? And I say, oh, I'm going to the airport in Delta. He's like, excellent, jump in. Now at this point, I'm thinking, and every time I get into a taxi or an Uber, I think, do I want to talk? Do I feel like talking? Unfortunately, I do think that because I'm always playing catch up on things, right? Work, more work, text I missed, something. And so I sit in the back and I was like, I'll ask, how are you doing today? Right? How are you doing? And he said, well, I'm doing okay. Yeah, it could be better. I started late. And remember, it's 5:20 in the morning. He says, I started at 11. And I said, well, what happened? Me and my curiosity, right? What happened? I asked so many questions. Sometimes I'm like, Tristan, don't ask anymore. It's, you know what? But I had this inclination, like maybe he wants to talk and, I don't know. I don't know. But here goes. He says, I was supposed to show up around 8 and probably missed a few rides, but I'm trying to make about $100 today overall, $100. And I think I can do it. I mean, it's too early. I'm taking you to the airport. It should be a good one. And so the airport's not that far from the hotel. It's like 10 minutes max, okay? 10 minutes, a 10-minute drive. And there's no traffic. It's in the morning. So we're sitting there and I said, oh man, well, look, it sounds like your day's getting better now, right? He's like, yeah, well, And then he gives me a cliche. And he says something along the lines of, it's not over till it's over, right? And I thought, yeah, I like that, right? Good cliche. He's like, well, what's your name? He goes, Tristan. I go, Tristan. He's like, I've got a whole bunch of cliches. In fact, Tristan, I'm thinking of writing a book. And, he just leaves it there. And I could have ended. I could have been like, great, he wants to write a book. But I thought, I know where this is going. Let's ask the right questions. Let's see what the book is about. Let's make him feel good, right? I'm all about making people feel good. But let's hear out the story. And I say, well, what's your name? And he's like, Charles. My name's Charles. He's like, well, my book's going to be about cliches, the cliches that have impacted my life. And I've got them all listed out. I've got chapter 1 ready. And this is how it's going to roll, Tristan. It's going to be like this and that. And he goes, Tristan, I've been a taxi driver for 50 years. And he goes, I was a cop at one point as well. So I know these streets like you would not imagine. In fact, Tristan, I might have the opportunity to get my own taxi. I mean, I've been in this for 50 years. I've always wanted my own taxi. And I said, Charles, you are at a stage in your life where it sounds like you're about to level up and you're this close, Charles. Why don't you just finish that book? He's like, I should, shouldn't I? I'm like, dude, you've got it outlined. And if you are able to get this taxi, to get the taxi that you've always wanted, you better believe you're going to do that and you're going to succeed. I mean, you're telling me nobody knows these streets like you do. 50 years and you were a cop? It's like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm going to do it. So 10 minutes, not a long conversation, okay? We get to the drop-off zone in the airport, and I'm literally still talking to him in the back seat. In fact, when he parks, he goes, Tristan, let me read to you what I've got. I've got it right here. And so he starts reading to me. Like, he literally starts reading me chapter 1. Gives me all the cliches, how they affected his life. Some of it rhymes. It sounds like music. And I'm like, Charles, this is good shit. Like, this is good, man. You really need to put this into a book. Like, this needs to happen. And he goes, yeah, I know, man, I know. And then I step out. He goes, hey, roll down the window from the front. So I roll down the window from the front. You know, I look down. There's a bit of a mess. It's a challenge. And I realize, you know, this guy's struggling, right? There's a lot of struggles, but he's got hopes. He's got dreams. And I want to empower him, right? Because he's sharing something with me. And it's making an impact on me. Like, I believe in his dreams. Like, I believe in his success. And I think this is the piece right here. When he rolls down the window and he says, Tristan, I used to be an alcoholic and I broke through that. You know, it's been an uphill battle the whole time. And I'm getting there and I'm going to do it. And then he reads to me a few more pieces of his book. We're out there like probably another 10 minutes talking. And as I'm walking away, I'm thinking, like, this is what it's about. And I struggle with it. I'm like, sometimes I go so fast I don't slow down to see what's right in front of me. You know, we're people. We need to talk to each other. We need to encourage each other. We need to help each other when we can and just listen sometimes. The power of listening to somebody's dreams, to somebody's hopes. Sometimes that's all we need. And that, to me, the reflection of that, I'm like, man, I was in the right time in the right place to feel amazing for Charles. I was like, I want Charles to make it. It left me emotional for a while there, and I wanted to share this story with you because I want you to slow down. I want you to slow down and notice what's in front of you. When you go out, when you're in with your family, what's happening in front of you that you need to just slow down and ask questions about? There are people in front of you all the time that you just ignore because, unfortunately, we also need to run our businesses. But I bet that the world becomes a little bit more magical when you take time to ask questions about how somebody is doing and be truly, truly engaged with their response. And so, to me, this was the magical part, the best conversation of the event. Like I said, I had amazing conversations with people I hadn't seen and people I met, right? I don't take anything away from that. I just think for me, my lesson was, Tristan, you've got to slow down. People are the most important thing. Have an awesome day.